Hey guys, Aubrey here with Erin Motorsports. I finished the 3.5 miler race a couple weeks ago, and I thought I didn't have anything broken or anything to fix on the race car, so I thought I would go ahead and create some work for myself. So trying to make the car faster. I've got my bypasses torn apart right here, so that's my 2.5 inch bypass, and here's my 2.5 inch piston and all the valving's off of it right now. So I was measuring all the valving to see what was on there. I'm going to try and lighten this up a little bit because we have the bypass valves out about as much as they can go. So that's the piston on the 3.5 inch. So I'm waiting to get some valving help from Right Coast Suspension. This one I just mounted back in here upside down so that the fluid would stay in there. And so once he tells me what valving to put in there, I'll get those put back together. But in the meantime, the two things I wanted to work on before the next race are valving and power steering. So I want this power steering to work faster. I talked to Eric at Radial Dynamics, and we talked about going to a trophy truck pump, but it's quite expensive. And the real reason why you would need the trophy truck pump is because a lot of those vehicles are swinging from like 8,000 to 800 RPM, and you got to maintain power through that entire range. With this one, we're talking about 800 to 2,800 RPM. So at 2,800 RPM, this one is currently spinning about 4,500 RPM. So it can spin up to 8,000 pretty consistently, and Eric said, even if they hit 9,000 occasionally, they're going to be all right. So I was trying to figure out how to make that faster. I can only make the pulley so much smaller, which I probably will try and make it a little bit smaller, but I'm limited on how far down on that I can go. So I was looking at the Fluidampr here to see if I could make it bigger. Now, if I can make that pulley bigger, I have an idler pulley here and an idler pulley here. So I'm making this idler pulley over on this side. I'm putting a larger idler pulley on there, and that's going to give me just a little bit more wrap. Because in addition to not having quite as good as fast power steering at low RPM as I would like, I'm also the belt's squeaking a lot, and you can see it's really soft on the backside. So I want to get as much wrap on there as possible to try and give it as good a grip as possible. So by going up an inch in size on this idler, it's going to give you just a little bit more wrap on here. But the big improvement that I'm going to make is going to a 6.7 Fluidampr. So this is a Fluidampr off of a 6.7, and the big difference between this is the back spacing. So it's got this big tooth gear on here, and it's got a lot more back spacing. So that Fluidampr, let's look at it here, is 9.75 inches in overall diameter, and you can see it's 6.83 inches to the outside of the pulley, whereas the one that we've got in here is going to be, let's get rid of that one, we're not using that one. This one is going to be 7.87, so you're going from 6.83 to 7.87, so just over an inch in diameter, which works out to about 15% faster belt speed on this. But my back spacing on this is 0.74 inches, and on the old one is 0.495, so right around 1/4 inch difference. Now, some of that is the gear. So I'm going to put this Fluidampr in my lathe. I'm going to shave off some of the gear, and then I'm going to see, I'm probably still going to have to make a little bit of a spacer here, but the guide pin in the center of my crankshaft is long enough that I can make a spacer easily and still have enough grip there. Plus, Fluidampr, I don't have it out here, but Fluidampr has a full power kit which goes in here, and it uses extra strong ARP bolts. and is for high horsepower applications. So it's going to be good to have anyways, but it's also going to help to really clamp this thing down and hold it in place even with a spacer in there. So that's my plan. So it's going to be machine this down, get it on there, put the bigger idler pulley on, put a smaller power steering pulley on there, and then my old 3-inch supercharger pulley was getting worn out, so I went to a 2.75 because I had it laying around. But I'll probably try and go up to a 3-inch or a 3.25-inch on the supercharger. I got to figure out exactly what I need to size that, because I don't really want it to be faster. I don't want it to go 15% faster on a 2.75 pulley. I think that's too much. So I think it's going to create a lot of resistance. So that's what I've got. Oh, let me see. Where is, here's my idler pulley. So I got this idler pulley, and my old adapter fits in here really nice. Let's see if I can, it actually fits in here perfect. But I think I might machine a slightly larger one just to give it more surface area, because since this is only on a 5/16 inch, or it's an 8mm bolt, I just want as much surface area here so that if it wants to pull, right, like if it wants to tip the pulley, it's got more surface area to keep it from doing that, so it's not putting as much strain on the bolt. So, and this is way wider than I need it to be, so I'm going to machine a bunch off the face of that. So, anyways, I'm pretty excited because I think this is going to allow me to get my race car to where I want to be without a ton of expense. You know, it's going to cost me like $10 in valves. We'll have to go shock tune again. That'll cost me a little bit, but and then, you know, I had to pay for the Fluidampr and an idler pulley. But compared to putting in a, you know, $3,500 trophy truck pump, that's pretty cheap. And I've got until my next race is in September, so I've got a while to work on this. So I'll get this stuff done and show you how it comes together. Okay, so it looks, I've been doing some measurement on here, some measuring on these two, and originally I thought I was gonna have to put a spacer in here based off of these measurements. So if you look at this one here, this is the 6.7, and it shows from that face to here is 0.74 inches, and on this one, it's I don't know how well this is going to focus, but 0.495 inches. So I was like, all right, so I'm going to need a spacer in there to space this one out further. But, you know, obviously you can see on here this timing ring is quite thick. So I was like, well, I'm going to need a spacer, and then I'm going to have to shave that down some because there's a 1/4 of an inch difference between these. But if you look really closely, again, not sure how well this is going to show up, there's a slight gap here, and they're measuring that 495 inches from this surface here, not from the actual face. So once I compared notes here, I measured from this surface to here, and then I measured from here down to the first rib. And I did that on both of them, and they're within 20 thousandths of an inch. So, and that's rough measuring, but you know, they're that close. That's 20 thousandths right there. So that's going to be plenty close for what we're doing, because the only thing that would be, you know, that would do would be to set my belt off so it's not tracking properly. So, you know, but my first accessory is all the way up here at my alternator. So 20 thousandths off obviously isn't going to cause an alignment issue there. So that makes things much easier. I don't have to machine a spacer. All I have to do is machine this surface off and machine my idler pulley down and put everything back together. Well, and then I got to machine the power steering pump too. All right, so I just got this thing put back together. It's running awesome. Everything's working great. The power steering is much quicker, and it allows me to react a lot faster. And the suspension is working great. I mean, we significantly backed off the dampening on those bypasses, and really getting it dialed in. It was just way too stiff before. I mean, you could see in some of the older videos that, like, when I was taking hits, that it was just jarring the car instead of going through the full range of motion. So we got it fixed up. I made another video talking about setting up serpentine belt accessories and some of the stuff that I learned in terms of choosing the automatic belt tensioners and that kind of stuff. But let me show you what we've got going on here. So I had the automatic belt tensioner here, and it was not working at all, really, because it was between the supercharger and the crank pulley. So ideally, you would put it down here on the slack side of the belt, but there's just no space because my upper link arm comes in here. So I wanted to get it as close as possible. I managed to get it right in here. This is working really well. It's not the best system, but it's what we've got. It's what I could work with here because of the way where everything's mounted and how everything fits in here. It would have been better to have it over here on the slack side and having it like in its own loop where it's pulling up on the system, but I can adjust the belt length here basically by this mount has 5 different holes in it, so I can move this pulley in and out like that, and then this one has an offset hole in it so that I can spin it around and get it positioned where I want to. The tensioner is all the way, so it comes all the way up against its stop here. So it's a little bit, it would be ideally still have some spring in it, but if this tensioner is really strong, and if I turned it all the way over to where it still had some spring in it, it just goes straight out to 90 degrees. So if I could move it over here further, then you could put some extra tension on it, but given its location, I couldn't move it over any further because of the need to be able to bolt the tensioner in. There wasn't space for it, and also to have a straight line from here to there. I could not get it in any other position here. So it maxes out here, and at 90 degrees, it wouldn't give me any kind of cushion on my system. It's just holding too much pressure on it. So with this system, as my belt stretches, I'm going to have to make adjustments here and here to keep it at the correct tension, which I can determine using a cricket gauge, which I'll cover in the serpentine video. So that being said, here is the 6/7 pulley that I machined down. So you can see without any spacers, the alignment was all correct on this. So, you know, the 8 rib section of this to the face of my crankshaft is the same on this pulley versus the 5/9 pulley. The only difference is taking this meat off. So didn't need a spacer, just had to machine off a bunch there. I got the, I can't remember what this is called, but it's a high horsepower something or other Fluidampr kit with longer bolts and a plate, and then it's got a barring nut right there in the center that you can use to spin the crankshaft around. Setting up these serpentine belts can be a bit complicated, and I've done a lot of research on it and learned a lot in working on this race car because I just had nothing to go off of. So if you have any questions about it that I can help with, please leave them in the comments. I check those regularly, and like and subscribe for more videos and content. Thanks.